Perth, Australia, September 14th, 2025. On a crisp morning in Western Australia, the nation's defence priorities took a monumental leap forward. Standing at the Henderson Defence Precinct near Perth, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Defence Minister Richard Marles outlined one of the largest defence investments in recent memory, a move framed as both a practical necessity and a geopolitical signal. Australia will pour 6.8 billion euros, 12 billion Australian dollars, into upgrading Henderson over the next decade, transforming it into a hub for nuclear submarine maintenance, shipbuilding and alliance integration under the AUKUS pact. This project represents more than an infrastructure investment. It is a statement of intent at a time when regional tensions, particularly with China, loom large. Flanked by senior officials and defence personnel, Albanese set the stage by underscoring the scale of the decision. Cameras captured the Prime Minister as he described the funding as part of a much broader defence modernisation effort. Anthony Albanese declared, "Today I am very pleased to announce that my government will provide 12 billion Australian dollars, approximately 6.8 billion euros, in new funding for the Henderson Defence Precinct right here in Western Australia." This brings our additional defence investment over the next decade to 70 billion Australian dollars, approximately 39 billion euros. Once completed, this complex will ensure continued military shipbuilding. And with AUKUS here in Western Australia, today's investment is another way we're delivering record defence funding to strengthen Australia's capabilities. We're investing in our capabilities and we're investing in our relationships. The Prime Minister emphasised that the Henderson site is not just about the vessels it will build or maintain, but about embedding Australia's defence industry within a broader strategic framework. The Henderson Defence Precinct has long been a cornerstone of Western Australia's naval operations. However, the new funding signals its transformation into a facility capable of sustaining the next generation of nuclear-powered submarines. Richard Marles, the Minister for Defence, laid out the vision in direct terms. Simply put, the Henderson Defence Precinct will be where we support and maintain our future nuclear-powered submarines, and it will also be where we undertake continuous shipbuilding in the West. That's what the Henderson Defence Precinct is all about. Henderson, and in that sense, it is very clearly an Australian sovereign capability, and that is its purpose. But in terms of submarine maintenance, it is an AUKUS facility. The emphasis on sovereign capability was not accidental. Australia's defence strategy has increasingly sought to balance independence with alliance cooperation. Henderson, in this framing, symbolises both. Beyond domestic utility, Henderson's new role is tightly interwoven with international cooperation. The AUKUS pact, linking Australia with the United States and the United Kingdom, is central to this initiative. Under AUKUS, Australia gains access to advanced submarine technology, but it also commits to building facilities that strengthen alliance interoperability. Marles acknowledged this dimension candidly. Now, the final decision about where the United States will actually maintain its submarines is a matter for the United States, but we absolutely anticipate that this facility will be available to them. It's, of course, part of what we do with our own submarine fleet, but it's really a very important contribution in terms of the alliance between us and the United States and in terms of how we work with the United States and with the United Kingdom. By positioning Henderson as an AUKUS asset, the government signalled Australia's readiness to shoulder responsibilities that extend beyond its borders. The timing of the announcement is critical. China's expanding naval presence in the Indo-Pacific has been a recurring concern for Canberra. In recent years, Beijing's investments in maritime assets and island bases across the South China Sea have shifted the balance of regional security. For Albanese's government, the Henderson upgrade is more than a domestic construction project. It is a counterweight in the evolving security environment. By highlighting the dual focus on capabilities and relationships, the Prime Minister framed the investment as a necessary response to strategic competition. This rhetoric aligns with Australia's broader defence narrative that security in the Indo-Pacific cannot rely on diplomacy alone. Physical infrastructure, such as Henderson, must underpin the nation's deterrence posture. Beyond the geopolitical lens, the project carries enormous economic weight. An investment of 6.8 billion euros over a decade promises thousands of jobs and a boost to Western Australia's industrial sector. The Henderson site, already home to skilled shipbuilders, engineers, and naval support staff, is expected to expand dramatically. Continuous shipbuilding, a phrase repeated by both Albanese and Marles, means long-term employment, supply chain contracts, and technological innovation within Australia's borders. Officials have emphasised that the benefits extend beyond defence. Local industries in steel, technology, and logistics are expected to be integrated into the project, creating ripple effects across the national economy. While the government projects confidence in Henderson as a sovereign capability, the acknowledgement that it is simultaneously an AUKUS facility highlights the complexity of Australia's defence posture. On one hand, sovereignty is reinforced by having the infrastructure on Australian soil, staffed by Australian workers and controlled by Canberra's defence apparatus. On the other, the facility's anticipated role in servicing US and UK submarines suggests an interdependence that could raise political questions in the future. Marles attempted to balance these considerations by stressing sovereignty while openly admitting Henderson's AUKUS function. This duality reflects the reality of modern defence alliances where independence and cooperation are intertwined. Domestically, the announcement also serves as a political message. Albanese's government has faced questions about its ability to manage the demands of defence modernisation while addressing social and economic issues at home. By staging the press conference at Henderson, the Prime Minister sought to project decisiveness and forward planning. Framing the investment as both national security and economic development, Albanese positioned his government as capable of handling complex long-term challenges. In an election cycle where defence spending often becomes a flashpoint, the announcement provides tangible evidence of delivery. The Henderson upgrade also feeds into broader debates about the AUKUS pact itself. Critics have questioned the costs, technological dependencies, and political risks of tying Australia's submarine program to foreign partners. Proponents argue that in the face of China's rise, such partnerships are indispensable. By committing billions to Henderson, Canberra has made clear that it intends to move past the debate stage and embed AUKUS into its defence landscape. The project is both a practical facility and a symbolic anchor for the trilateral alliance. Despite the clarity of the announcement, significant questions remain. Nuclear submarine construction and maintenance is among the most complex engineering challenges in defence. Ensuring that Henderson has the workforce, technical expertise, and regulatory frameworks to manage such tasks will require sustained attention. Moreover, as Marles noted, the ultimate decisions about how US submarines use Henderson lie with Washington. Australia can prepare the facility, but the extent of its role in Allied operations will be shaped by ongoing diplomatic and military negotiations. For now, however, the message from Perth is one of commitment and readiness. Australia is not waiting for future threats to materialise. It is investing now in the infrastructure it believes will secure the next generation. The €6.8 billion investment in the Henderson Defence Precinct represents far more than bricks, steel and dry docks. It is a declaration of Australia's intent to stand firm in a shifting Indo-Pacific landscape, to reinforce its sovereignty while deepening alliances, and to secure economic and strategic dividends for decades to come. Albanese captured this balance in his own words. We're investing in our capabilities, and we're investing in our relationships. In those twin priorities lies the essence of Australia's defence strategy: strength at home and solidarity abroad.